What is up, YouTube? And today I'm going to be showing you guys my account progression after a week, and also what I recommend as kind of like your guideline or your roadmap to get to the mid game and progress pretty smoothly. Now I will say that I'm not free to play, obviously. I did spend about I think it's like $160 now on this game, and mostly because I make content for the game. Usually if you're trying to make content for a game, you can only really do it if you get somewhat ahead, and even though I could use my experience and game knowledge from gacha games to get ahead, yeah, in these games, swiping is the easiest way to get somewhat ahead, right? But basically, I got super lucky on my TO summons. You can see mine's T6, and I did get a ton of other characters as well. But the thing you're going to see that a lot of people are shocked about is I have so many of these 4 equipment slots unlocked. And that's not really from swiping. That's from basically kind of like the strategy I did for farming to kind of unlock all these characters, right? And I still even have, I think, a ton of fodder to use, right? I have like 1, 2, 3 fodders I can use to unlock 3 more equipment slots. So basically what I did, well, before I even get into that, if you're starting the game, the first thing that you need to focus on no matter what is going to be adventure. So number 1, just always push adventure. And the reason why is because as you unlock harder stages, you will unlock better farming stages. So the breakpoints are going to be Chapter 2, Chapter 8, Chapter 11, and then also Chapter 14. And then eventually you'll go into Nightmare. This is where you will get those faster EXP stages to level up your fodder. At those breakpoints, the stages that are required to level up fodder to level 30 will go down. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about fodder, I do have a fodder guide on my channel that you guys can check out. So basically you want to push adventure as hard as you can. Another thing people are asking alongside pushing adventure is like, what about power-up dungeons? So power-up dungeons, you also want to just push as hard as you can, but don't get too caught up on it. It doesn't really matter too much. But just keep in mind that power-up dungeons are something you want to also do because you will need the mats to rank up your characters. But essentially just push adventure as much as you can, and while you do that, what you want to do is what I'm doing right now. So whenever you go to bed, whenever you go to work, whenever you're busy, you want to be ruby farming the hardest stage on stage 1, like Chapter 2 stage 1, or example like Chapter 8 stage 1, right? Because this way you'll be leveling up your fodder and then, making a lot of gold and stuff like that. And I'm going to end this and show you guys what my settings are. So when you guys are farming fodder, and I did also show this, you're going to do it in the ruby farming team. You could set up, how you want to do it. You want to use your key bundles and ending repeat battle upon losing a match. You can turn that on if you want. But basically you want your farmer to be in the back line in this formation, basically the protective formation, so they get the most damage. And then you're going to want to actually have your fodder, which is like the random shitter monsters that you get as cards, to be in the front, and you're going to auto replace them by clicking on them. And you want to switch in the highest rank first and make sure it's on all, and you want to make sure you skill prio to have your farmer have both their skills prioritized. Now good farmers are like Tio, Ray, Yunhee, even Klahan on the banner. Anything with AoE damage is very good, and you want to just make sure you do this because this will farm you a lot of fodder that you can actually enhance. So basically while you're doing that, you're going to be getting a ton of characters, and they'll be getting leveled up to 30. Because these like shitter mobs I told you will be dropping, you're also leveling them. And then what you're going to want to do is just, like I said, I do have a full guide on this if you want like more in-depth information, is you kind of just want to rank them up. And then after you rank them up to like +5, what you'd end up doing is fuse them together and make the 3 stars into 4 stars, repeat the process, and then make the 4 stars into 5 stars, and then the 5 stars into 6 stars. And while you're doing this, you'll have a ton of chances to get legendary characters. So people are like, oh my god, you must have spent $5,000, you have so many legendaries. No, if you actually ruby farm a lot in this game, which is what I did for like the first 4 days, you will get a ton of characters. And even if you don't get characters from here, you will get a ton of rubies to buy summons. So that is basically why you want to ruby farm. It's always like the way to progress. By doing this, you will get your 6-star fodders, and once you get 6-star fodder, what you can actually do is you can unlock this 3rd and 4th gear slot. And the way you do it is by going to power up again. I know I'm like going between a lot of interfaces, so I apologize if it's getting confusing. But then you would like pick the character you want to, give gear slots to, choose your 6-star fodder, and now you can unlock the weapon or the armor. Now between the weapon and the armor, obviously you want to do both, but the weapon is better for DPS for the first one, and the armor, you can pretty much get away with like just the armor on your supports because they just need to stay alive, right? They don't really need to do damage. Because even though you are missing out on some main stat from the weapon, you have to keep in mind the armor will give you like HP and defense flat. So very, very good to have that on your tank. So yeah, you want to be unlocking your gear slots. I recommend doing TO or whatever farmer you're using first. And then after that, you want to start unlocking gear slots on your Dragon or Ox King DPS. So Dragon and Ox King are basically raids. This is where you farm your equipment. And it really depends on what you want to do. I did Dragon first for a bit. And then I farmed like some of these pieces, these Vanguard pieces, and even these bounty trackers. And then I went full into Ox King. But you can go into Ox King fully if you want. The DPS that you want to unlock your equipment slots on are going to be your single target DPS for Ox King, such as Espada or also, what's his name, Snipper. Or you can do the AoE. So you're going to want to do Daisy or Black Rose, ideally both. And it's really up to you which one you want to do first because, you're not going to really be able to do this without, having both upgraded. But the AoE is going to be more important for Ox King. Now for Dragon, you only really have one main DPS. It's either going to be Shane or Juppy, and it's going to really come down to whichever character you have. You can unlock both, and then you can just keep your other characters at like 2 equipment slots, maybe even 3 if you want them to be tankier. Rachel, I actually have at 4 because she helps damage a bit, but really up to you. So, pushing adventure, unlocking your gear slots on your main DPS for farming, first of all, and then your raid DPS. Now, once you get to this point, what you want to actually do is start farming equipment and gearing up your team. So farming raid to get equipment built onto your farming DPS as like the top priority is very important. And also eventually just, improving your raid team. Now, in terms of the stages you want to farm in raid, the best breakpoints, obviously you can farm whatever you can do at the hardest level because they still will give you like 5-star equipment starting at like, I think it's 3. But anyways, like the best breakpoints to aim for are 6 because this will guarantee 5-star equipments, 7 because this will have a chance to drop 6-star, and then stage 10 because this will guarantee 6-star as well, and you can't get any 5-stars. So you want to make your way up. You're not going to get to stage 10 in like a few days. It takes some time of grinding, so don't worry about that too much. But even 5-stars are fine. You can see I do have some 5-stars upgraded, and I still use it on some of my characters, like Rachel's using a 5-star. Definitely just make sure when you're upgrading your gear, you're focusing mostly on the main stat and the set. The sub-stats are important, yes, but in the early game, you don't have enough pieces to really worry about the sub-stats yet. So you can see, like, this piece here, absolutely terrible for DPS, but this was like one of the first pieces I upgraded, and I'm still using it to this day. So you can kind of see that it's going to be a very, very good piece for your early game and mid game progressions. You want to farm raid to gear your units, and the reason why you're doing this is you're kind of going into a loop, right? You're ruby farming to unlock equipment slots, and then you're getting equipment slots unlocked on your farmer first, and then your raid teams, and then with your raid teams you're farming better gear, and then gearing up your farmer even more, and then your other characters, and just going in a circle, right? And the ultimate end goal is going to be getting to 14-1. And the reason why is because 14-1 for adventure, when you are ruby farming it, you will get like the most EXP. The EXP you get from 14-1 is going to be exactly the same as Nightmare. The only thing is Nightmare gives you more fodder, more gold, and gives you like a chance at a very, very good piece of equipment, accessories. But for like the most part, 14-1 is going to be fine to farm for a while. So you want to keep repeating this process, get to 14-1. Once you get to 14-1, you do the same thing. You keep repeating the process, and then you'll eventually get to Nightmare. Nightmare is harder because you will need 2 teams to farm it, as you saw earlier when I was showing you. So you just kind of keep repeating that loop. That's what I basically did, and I was kind of like farming different stuff at different times. And then eventually, once you get to Nightmare 1-1, you'll start farming these these accessories, and these will help you push into the harder raid stages and like the harder tower stages. So that's basically the loop that I did to get to where I am. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, you should be doing power-up dungeons as needed to rank up your characters. You should be doing Infinite Tower as well in Arena to make sure you're not capped on the tickets because you get a ton of rubies there as well. But like before I end the video, like some tips I can tell you is that when you rank up your characters, this is like from the power-up dungeons, you get so many stats. So just from going from 5 stars to 6 stars is huge. So you definitely want to make sure that you do this. Like on your characters you're using a lot. Also, on top of that, I do have a wishlist video on my channel. I recommend checking that out, but you really want to prioritize certain, not just legendaries, which are going to be important, but also rare characters, because getting some of these rares, for example, Evan to max dupe, makes them infinitely stronger. And your rare characters are going to be the ones that really carry you in the early and mid game, because even though legendaries will be the best, you have to realize the rare characters, because they drop so often from summons, because they're lower rarity obviously, you will max dupe them a lot quicker. You can see I max duped my Charon, my Yui, and almost my Evan. I think I can actually almost do it right now if I had to look at copies, yeah. But I max duped them before I even pulled a copy of one of the really key PvE characters I'm looking for in Biscuit. So rare characters will definitely carry you, definitely something that you want to prioritize, and just keep repeating this loop, and then you'll eventually, you know, get to the point where you're aiming for. Of course, it won't all happen overnight. It is progression, and it will take some time. But a lot of people were saying that they feel like they hit a wall already, which is, I don't want to say it's like hard to hit a wall in this game, but if you don't actually know what you're actively farming for, it is pretty difficult. But if you guys just keep, you know, ruby farming into raid farming, just pretty much back and forth, you should be good to go. A good rule of thumb is while you're online and awake, ruby farming is the best because you will be awake to reset it. But when you're sleeping and stuff like that, raid is going to be the best to battle in the background, because these runs take longer and you won't have to actually reset it, you know, and wake up in the middle of the night and then, you know, start the repeat battle again, which is what I did because I'm a psycho and I'm really addicted to this game right now. And that's how I progress really fast. So yeah, pretty much it for this video though, guys. Don't expect to progress as fast as I do, because I did spend a bit on this game. I said like what, $160, something like that. And ever since the game came out, literally I've been like cycling my sleep around it. So while I'm sleeping, I would wake up and reset my repeat battles. So honestly, like a giga tryhard like sweat. So don't like compare your progression to mine. And I do it because I want to make content for you guys, because, you know, yeah, I have to stay ahead to, you know, be able to tell you guys, or like explain to you guys, I mean, how to progress efficiently, like this video. So yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.